Tonight on Another Thing About Tartan, and as part of our Clan of the Month celebration for Clan MacFarlane, we are so pleased to welcome Michael and Diana MacFarlane, all the way from California, virtually of course, to tell us their story. Michael is the president of the International Clan MacFarlane Society, and Diana is the Director of Media Development and Member Services, as well as the Regional Commissioner for Southern California. So what better couple to speak about all things Clan MacFarlane? Welcome, Diana and Michael. So, Michael, can you start by telling us a bit about your connection to Clan MacFarlane?
Well, I have been a McFarland all my life, and I am very proud of my heritage. And I have been, my life has been part of Clan MacFarlane. I mean, my entire adult life, I've been president of the International Society, and I started when I was 24. As a child, I used to go with my grand to the Highland Games here in California. And then when I became a teenager, I was a bit too cool for all that for a little while. And I basically came back at about 23 years old.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. And great to hear that you've always been involved and from such a young age too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it sounds like you celebrated, your clan heritage then from a very young age.
Yeah, well, it was important for my grandmother, who had strong Scottish, roots, to teach us about our heritage here in America.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. And so what does it mean to you to be a member of Clan MacFarlane?
It's a part of my everyday life, and it's a honor and a privilege to serve my clan members around the world.
Brilliant. And so, Diana, do you also have Scottish heritage then, or did you embrace it as a passion through Michael?
I do. I am actually a Stuart. My Scottish ancestry is Stuart. But, once you marry into a clan, you become part of that clan. So that's why my energies have, of course, shifted to building up Clan MacFarlane and all the work that we do and increasing our membership and doing all of our outreach work that we do all over the world. It's very exciting and gives us a lot of joy in life.
Oh, that's great. I'm so glad to hear that you got involved. And yes. So, do you have a favourite story? I asked this to each of you about the history of the clan then. Anything that particularly stands out?
One of my favorite stories, one of the old stories of the clan, was about when someone actually for once stole our cattle, because we were usually the predators, not the other way around. But what happened was we caught this man drunk, singing under a tree, boasting how he stole the McFarlane's cattle and how much he got. He sold a bunch of them for a great profit. And so we captured him, and we basically told him that if he were to give us the money he got for our cattle and tell us where the rest were, we wouldn't hang him for stealing our cattle. And after he did all this and complied, we proceeded to string him up on the nearest tree. And he said, well, wait a minute, you told me you wouldn't, hang me for stealing these cattle if I gave them back. And we said, we're not hanging you for stealing these cattle. We're hanging you so you won't steal again.
Well, there you go. That's a warning to everyone. Yeah, don't mess with the McFarlanes. There you have it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everyone when we found out over, since I've been with Clan MacFarlane for the past couple of years, is that everyone loves the tales of cattle rustlers. McFarlanes were like the McGregors and so many of the other clans from Latham, and were cattle rustlers. That's how they made their living. And they would go over to their neighbor's house, the Calhouns, and steal their cows and then bring them back and sell them at market. And that's how they made money. And we find that so many people love the lore of the cattle rustlers and of McFarlane's lantern, which is McFarlane's lantern is the full moon, because that's the light that the McFarlanes used to use in order to go and lift their neighbor's cattle.
We also controlled a good portion of the West Highland Way. So, there was only one way to market, and that was through our lands. Yeah. Eventually, after a while, we became more friendly about it. We built an inn, and there's the cattle pens are still there. It's called the Drover's Inn. It's up there in Ardlui and stuff. But we actually built that as a place for people to rest while we collected our taxes. So,
Collect our taxes.
Yeah. Yeah, like at least you're offering some comfort during that. So
exactly.
Yes. Here, have a drink.
We weren't the only ones doing it. It's not like people didn't know what was up. So
it was a very common practice.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, likewise down here in the Scottish borders where we were based, then you had the border reavers. So
exactly,
it was a similar thing. So,
mm-hmm.
Oh, great. And so obviously the clan is an armigerous clan, which means that you are registered with the Court of the Lord Lion, but you don't currently have a chief. So
yes.
Do you think firstly, has there ever been, or do you ever think there will be a claim to that chiefship?
Well, the chiefship has been dormant for over 300 years, and we feel that it would be best. We've actually searched to find a hereditary chief, and that has really borne no fruit. I mean, the people we found that were descendants of it, I mean, they hadn't been called, they never heard the name McFarlane before. They weren't really interested. So that's that. But we would be looking to call a Durfeen, which is a Celtic court among the family. It's a family court that would decide and elect a commander. And then the commander would serve for, 5-10 years, depending on the ruling of the Lord Lion. And then afterwards, the Lord Lion would grant the chiefly arms to who can prove that they are the chief with the backing of the people.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've heard that happening. Clan Buchanan recently regained a chief after, I think it was that over 200, 300 years. So, you've heard these things happen previously, but also the role of a commander is becoming, in my mind, maybe more of a common practice for like other clans like yourselves where there hasn't been a chief for so long.
Yeah, I think that it would be a good move for us to take in the future. Right now, I think the clan itself has a lot of work to do before I think we're ready for that. Because as you know, there's infighting, there's other things that happen within clans,
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I read that the original Clan MacFarlane Society was actually established both in Glasgow and London back in 1911, but sadly, due to World War I and the following economic depression, that by 1922 the society was no longer. So that's quite the claim to have a society that was dated so far back. But can you tell me more about how the resurgence of the society came about and a bit more about the society today?
Well, there was a period in the early 1970s where many societies were established and reestablished. And we were no different. And it was important to us to carry on the tradition of the original founding of the society. And so what we did is we actually adopted the records and other things of the original society when we reformed in 1973. And we did that at Grandfather Mountain, North Carolina. There was our president at the time, our first president's name was Ian Mcfarland, and he and about 75 others were the founding members of the reestablished society in 1973.
I bet there's some great stories in those old records.
Oh yeah, there is. And over the years, we've had various presidents, and we grew throughout the U.S. and Canada. And when I became president, I reached over to Scotland because I felt we didn't have a good presence in Scotland. And I also reached out. In the early days in the 70s, they had actually sent money to help establish an Australian and a New Zealand society. And what had happened is a lot of them were quite elderly. The New Zealand Society just came in and joined with us, and we built a great big, couple hundred members in Australia as part of our society. Now we have a large chapter in Germany. We have members in Argentina and Mexico, Japan, Singapore, all over the world.
Oh, that's amazing. That it's grown, yeah, like you say, to become truly international.
Yes, exactly. We're in over 16 countries now.
Yes. It's important to note that a lot of clan organizations will divide up between the clans in Scotland and the clans in North America and Canada and all of that. And Clan MacFarlane, we do not do that. We are one group that spans across the world and across the globe.
Yeah, here in America, you'll have like Clan Donald Pacific, Clan Donald Nevada, Clan Donald this, and they all have different presidents and vice presidents and all that. And then the one main one is with the chief in Scotland. But since we didn't have that, we just created one group around the world. And on our society arms that were granted to us by the Lord Lion, our shield is the McFarlane. It's based on the chiefly arms, except ours has a chain around the edge with a big globe in the middle. And that symbolizes us striving to unite our clansmen around the world.
That's a great story, yeah. And like you say, I like the fact that you have all come together. It sounds great.
Yeah, we only hope to do more.
Oh. We worked very hard in order to reestablish our presence in Scotland because the McFarlanes left Scotland pretty early on, and that's a whole other story. Some of it was the clearances, and some of it was the family. But we worked very hard in order to reconnect the diaspora all over the world, and then also reestablish our presence in our homelands in Tarbet, Loch Lomond, Arrochar area, so that everyone knows that we're not, the Calhouns still have an estate. Some of the clans still have estates in the area of Loch Lomond, but we are trying to reestablish our presence in our ancestral homelands.
Oh, sounds great to me.
Mm-hmm.
So how was it that you did first get involved with the society then, Michael? Was that through your gran also?
Well, when I came back, I started going to attending the Highland Games in my early 20s. And I was interested in becoming more involved. I actually wanted to bring my own clan tent to these things. We were underrepresented at several of the festivals. And it's something I wanted to do. So I became what we would call a commissioner, which is someone who is basically in charge of a certain region. So I started in Southern California, and that moved to Northern California. And then I broke into Nevada and Arizona. They had a couple games there, and I started doing them as well, representing the Clan MacFarlane. And after I was doing quite a bit of this and interacting with the board, they actually said, why didn't you step up and, become president? And so I was running for president, and then the president at the time decided he didn't want to, so they asked if I would instead run for vice president, and I did. And I became vice president, and then about a year into that, the current president, he was elderly, and he took ill, and he ended up passing away within the next 2 years after that. But I ended up taking over as president a year into my vice presidency. And then by this time, I had connected with one Brian McFarlane in Fife, Scotland. And he was very energetic about getting the word out in Scotland and everything. And I told him he needs to step up and join the board and become vice president. And so we had an election, and he was elected. And we just lost Brian. This was way back in the 90s, and we just lost Brian earlier this year. He passed away. But
I'm also from Fife, so I feel an affinity already.
Where are you from?
From Fife in Dunfermline. So,
Oh, yeah, that's where Brian's from too. He was from a wee village in called Carnock.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know it well.
Yeah.
Oh.
We used to call it the Kingdom of Fife.
Exactly, yeah. Well, it was previously the capital for a while, so yeah. My grandmother always used to tell me, you know, we were the capital one day, so.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And so, Diana, part of your role is you've almost taken over from Michael, I suppose, as the commissioner then for Southern California.
Yes, I have. We had a wonderful commissioner here in Southern California after Michael became vice president and president. His name is Jason Knox. He's one of our SEPs, our Knoxes, and he was doing a great job when he moved. And the need happened, and I had already begun working. What we've done in Clan MacFarlane is I have a background in corporate marketing, and I took that skill set and I've applied it to the way that most of the work that we do is through the American Highland Games. And the Highland Games here are done a little bit differently than they are in Scotland. Yeah. But every single event or festival, Scottish festival, has a clan row where the clans go and they set up tents. And then in those tents, you promote your clan, you educate, and then you recruit memberships. And we're always there for people who want to come in and find out more about their family heritage. So I became the commissioner for Southern California. So now we travel around to cities in Southern California, and I set up a tent and also offer refreshment, food, drink for those people who want to come in.
We built a bar.
Some hospitality.
Lands and Festival for kind of the cool kids, because I have adopted. I'm so proud of all my commissioners. They're amazing. They've all done such a great job and taken on everything that we tried to do. And so, we want to make sure that not only are you learning about your family heritage, but then and your clan heritage, but you're also getting a chance to sit down and drink and have a good time.
I love it. Yeah, I was going to say, like you mentioned, the Highland Games here in Scotland, you don't often see that. And I always think that's a real shame, because when you come out to them in the States, then everyone is so passionate, and it's just so nice because you can see everyone connecting, and that's sometimes their only chance in a year to see each other.
Yeah, there are the events here in America are not just like a fair or a sporting event. I mean, these are actually cultural festivals where people of our culture gather. I mean, they become gathering points for us to connect with our heritage. And that's also where we would find like our kilts and, you got to get your tablet somewhere and your, and your Monster Munch and all the other great stuff you can't get in America.
Is that one of your favorites, is it?
Your haggis chips,
Yeah.
But some of the work that not only do we do work here in the United States at the Highland Games in order to educate and bring people into the fold about their heritage, but we also, in Clan MacFarlane, the work that we do is also, I always kind of joke about this, we also work really hard to make all the Scots in Scotland understand why we do this, and to also bring them back into the fold with their own heritage that in a lot of cases, especially in the Highlands, that heritage and that history has been lost.
Yeah,
so we want to make sure that we bring both people together.
Yeah, like you say, I feel like we underappreciate what we have here in Scotland. There aren't many countries that have the same kind of connections and stories that we have. So anyone who's going to help us shout about it, then I'm all for it.
I've always found that when meeting with Scottish MacFarlanes, a lot of them are very hesitant and resistant at first. But once they actually learn about some of their heritage and their culture, and sometimes they know a little bit, but they know more about it. They you can see the passion. It comes back.
Most of the MacFarlanes are here, are outside. There are a lot of MacFarlanes still in Scotland, but there are a lot of MacFarlanes here in the United States, Canada, Australia. We have MacFarlanes in Germany, all over the world, like we were saying earlier. And so it's all about making the MacFarlanes are still in Scotland understand why we do this, why these crazy Americans want to come and like wear kilts and do all this stuff, because they don't. Then once they understand, there is a huge sense of pride that they develop, and it's a blessing for us to have them involved. We do have Scottish MacFarlanes in Scotland that are a part of our association, and the Scots have, it's such a unique culture and such a unique story and such a unique heritage, and we just want to keep that alive and make sure that not only the people in the rest of the world appreciate Scottish heritage, but also people in Scotland understand how special they are and how much they have to offer the world and how much their culture is just cool. It's just cool.
Exactly, yeah. I'm very proud to have the opportunity to come out to the States and actually be part of those celebrations, because like you say,
come on out. We're in Los Angeles. I know you guys go to New York Tartan Week. We can't wait to have you in Los Angeles for Scott Week and all the other festivals that we do, but come on out. We'd love to have you.
Definitely, yeah, and we can come and visit that bar at your house.
Yeah, exactly. It's open.
Amazing.
There's a lot of stock in that bar.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, probably much more than we have here. But so obviously talking about kind of representing the clan here in Scotland. So I was reading that the Clan MacFarlane Heritage Trust was founded by the Society to create a heritage centre for the preservation and presentation of the McFarland heritage in the Loch Lomond area that we've been discussing. So can you tell us a bit more about that? And is the centre open for people to visit out with COVID?
Well, the centre, we actually, we raised funds for about 15 years, and we opened up a center in Tarbet at the old Free Church in Ballyhennan in Tarbet, right there on the West Highland Way there before the 82-83 split. So we actually maintained that for a couple of years, but then we had to close that, unfortunately. But what we are doing is we're working on fundraising again to give it another go.
It was an idea that was kind of ahead of its time when it was done. It was like, a restaurant, a museum, and a car park, which is very common now with so many of the castles and the estates now. But when Michael was doing it, it was a little bit ahead of its time. So there's been a lot of interest of us coming out and doing it again. But yes, we are waiting for COVID to be over to find out what the fallout of all that is, because we're very sad. We just read about 3 months ago the Tarbet Hotel went under and is being sold. So who knows? We might wind up buying a property and doing it again.
Well, yeah, exactly. As much as it's been such a sad time for everyone, you do think that there are some opportunities for regrowth and rebuilding in more positive ways. So if that is a positive result out of everything, then that's a great one.
We're more, when we did it before, the area up there was more isolated, but now more and more people are commuting to Glasgow, and it's actually becoming more part of civilization. So it's like, you don't have to worry as much about dying in winter like so many things have in that area. The area stayed small because it's a rough place to do anything.
Well, and I was going to say the West Highland Way has become a really popular walking route as well, hasn't it? So.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I would actually love to do that. It's
not in the wintertime, though.
No.
The industry of Scotland has grown, and there's so much development happening around Loch Lomond that I think if we were to do it again, it would be a completely different story with regards to the amount of tourism and bodies in the door. Yeah.
Like I say, I haven't done the walk myself, but my parents have, so they enjoyed it thoroughly. So I think, they would definitely say anyone should go and try it. So next time you're here, I think you should add that to your list.
All right.
So obviously COVID, as we've been discussing, has put a stop to a lot of in-person gatherings. So I know you were planning to hold a gathering last year, but you forged ahead regardless with a virtual celebration, which I remember us filming something for you as part of that, all about the many amazing presentations. So was that the first virtual gathering that the clan had done, and how did that go?
It went really well. I mean, I was not for the virtual events at first because my business is very much involved with the Highland Games as it is. I have we make clan items and stuff. In my business, we travel 40 festivals per year, and I was basically just put right out of business.
Mm.
And that was not good. And like a lot of the virtual gatherings at the time when they first started were really done on the fly, and people like, Highland dancing by their pool on a Facebook video, things like that. But we did it later on in the year, and Diana put together a really great presentation, and it was wonderful. And we actually had all these bits like old documentaries, other things that we were able to actually put into this format. And we had members of ours talk about like the connected set names that are associated with our clan and everything. We put together a really nice presentation. It took over 6 hours to actually sit through the whole meeting, and when that was great, and people loved it, and they all stayed till the end. Yeah, and what was great is what we found out at the end is like we had over 800 people that showed up for that.
Oh,
And yeah, and when we go to Scotland, I mean, we'll have a gathering there. We have 100, 200 people sometimes, but having 800 people, and they were tuning in from like Australia and, Scotland, everywhere. And it was really great to have that many people who normally couldn't have gotten together anyway, get together. So we decided what we want to do is we want to keep some sort of a virtual aspect even when we go back to live gatherings.
Oh, that's great. I think a lot of people have felt similar, in that in some ways it's more accessible then, isn't it? So
yeah, I'm thinking like the business meeting alone, we could do that and then have like the gathering at a different location every year like we do.
It was a wonderful opportunity to be able to educate and offer entertainment and connect with those people who can't travel to the United States or to Australia or to Scotland for a gathering. And like Michael said, we usually have 50 people at an in-person gathering, but we were able to reach across the globe and offer a different kind of programming. I mean, this is, as you know, and what I do for a living. And so when the decision was made that we would do it, it was done very quickly. But it turned out to be a massive success. Everyone really enjoyed it. They were really impressed because we did do something very different than what a lot of other groups were doing. That I did, again, more on a corporate level. It was great. And I also want to say thank you so much to Scotland Shop. I emailed Anna and asked her for a commercial, and what she sent me was a full-out presentation about Clan MacFarlane history and all of the tartans, and it was so wonderful to have that and to have you guys.
It fit in beautifully, and everyone loved it.
It was beautiful. I mean, I couldn't believe it, and she just whipped it up. You guys whipped it up over like a couple of days, and so we were so thankful. And thank you so much to Scotland Shop and to you, Emily, and to Anna for doing that for us. It was a huge hit with our membership. We really enjoyed it.
Oh, well, we're always excited to get involved in any of these events. Like I say, we're always up for a celebration. So whether it be virtual or in person, we'll always do our best to get involved. So
very good.
I think coronavirus may have made some people fearful about travel. And for me personally, I feel even more desperate to get back out there as soon as it's safe to do so and share my love for Scotland and my passion. So as things are starting to reopen, as I said, tomorrow is the day that the bars and our shop in Edinburgh all reopen. So it feels like quite an exciting time for us at the moment here. So already I could see on the website that the Society are lined up to attend a number of Highland Games later this year. So are you all excited to get back out there and reconnect? I bet it'll feel like, we already said it feels like a gathering and a family reunion, but I think even more so now than ever.
Oh yes, I'm very excited too.
So ready. We are so ready. And we are, here it's state to state. So Michael and I are in California. California is supposed to open up full time June the 15th. He's actually leaving on Tuesday to go out on the road to start his tour across the southern United States of Highland Games that are pushing forward. And it's a waiting game right now. And I'm sure it's the same way in Scotland. We have to wait and see who's moving forward and who's not.
We're heading out to Texas and Tennessee.
There you go.
And it's disappointing when people don't move
and then
forward.
we have California events in June.
Yeah. We're thinking like September, October is going to be when California really kind of gets back into it. And again, we're still waiting to hear, but we are definitely ready to go. It's like you said, you try to do everything right and be safe, but just staying in makes you even more passionate about getting out and doing things and connecting. And, and then once everyone's been vaccinated, it's, yes, we are ready. We are so ready.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Like you say, as soon as we can do it safely, then let's get back out there and start celebrating again.
Yeah, we already, in this country, we already have about 275,000 people vaccinated right now.
Yeah. Amazing.
And so, we're getting there. And we just got our second jag last week. That's why we were kind of out of it.
Yeah, I know you're not feeling the best on Friday, but I'm glad to see you're both recovered now. So that's
very much so.
Oh, well, hopefully it won't be too much longer until I get mine. But things are gradually starting to roll out in Scotland. So we're getting there as well.
Yeah.
That's fantastic to hear that the bars are going to be open. I don't think our bars are going to be open until the 15th. So, for Scotland.
Quite restricted, but, at least it's a small start to getting things reopened. So,
yeah.
We can't wait. We actually are starting to plan to do our AGM in Scotland next year.
Oh, great.
For 2022. Yeah, Michael, it's 2022, right? Have my dates right? Yes. Or is it 21?
Mm-hmm.
Our AGM in Scotland.
2022.
2022. So we are starting. We are waiting to see
2022.
So we're starting to make plans for that. We're waiting to see how Scotland opens up.
Yeah,
June of 2022, we will have the Mcfarland gathering in Edinburgh again.
Yeah.
Oh, well, amazing. Well, we'll look forward to visiting if you're here in Scotland. So 100%. Okay, so also, I think, again, part of everyone being at home and they've had a bit more time to investigate this. So I feel like everyone has been exploring their roots and their heritage and generally has picked up a bit more of an interest in it. So has the society benefited from that at all, do you feel?
Oh, yeah. I mean, people wanting to be part of their heritage has always been what drives us. However, I mean, we do have a lot of people who study their genealogy and DNA and all that other stuff, but we like people to join the clan as clansmen and not people who study clansmen. There's a saying that tradition is not the worship of ashes, but the preservation of fire. And we I mean, yes, we're glad that your great-great-great-grandfather was a member of the clan, but you're a member of the clan. What are you going to do to keep it alive today? So
that's great. Well, I think it takes us to pass it on to the future generations as well, doesn't it? So
right, exactly. We don't want to get to this point where there's like 300 years of silence and our heritage almost dying again. You know what I mean? We want to keep it going this time, but it's going to take people who are clansmen.
We encourage all of our members, regardless of why they join, to not just come into the group and to come into the organization to research their own personal family histories, but to learn and appreciate all Mcfarlane history, all Mcfarlane culture, all Scottish culture. It's not just we do a lot of work with other clans and other groups and other leaders. But to appreciate everything.
Yeah, Mcfarlanes were just one part of a bigger story,
Exactly. And to develop an appreciation and a love for everything and open up their world to this whole other culture that they knew was part of their family, but that it's not just about their ancestors, it's about them as well. It's their story as well.
Yeah, and continuing that. So that sounds great. And so obviously you're planning already for hopefully being able to make it over here to Scotland next year. So what's on your list? What are your must-do things? Food, people to meet up with, places to visit?
Well, what we're going to do is we like to actually we're actually going to spend a full couple weeks in our own village. Okay. And we're going to take our members to explore a lot of the old sites and history. A lot of it is not even recorded properly yet.
Hmm.
But we know where a lot of the old villages are that are in our clan lands. A lot of like there's like the ferry locks up in the hills. There's, you know, like the old black village where they used to like watch the road from. You know, there's also we explore the islands, the castle ruins on the islands of Ivao and Inveruglis. And there's a lot of fun places to go in our village. I mean, we stay at the Village Inn usually, which is a beautiful hotel. And it used to be the schoolhouse, but it's a beautiful bar, restaurant, hotel. And there's all sorts of great nature walks and boating. We're not far from Helensburgh, you know. We like to go to the Drover's Inn. That's a great place for music and great bar, food, you know, music. It's a really good laugh up there. You know, but there's all sorts of things we could do around there, you know, day trips. And we like to go to Oban. There's a lot of good music and stuff in Oban. It's also a great place to jump off and go to visit the islands and all that. Mm-hmm.
Last time we were out, we spent a lot of time in the lowlands, or we started off in Arikar and then we went down to the lowlands and saw all that. So with this trip, we're going to go back, and because our membership wants to see the highlands. So we're going to start in Arikar again, but then we're going to go up and go to Inverness and visit all the standing stones and all the things and the sites and places that people have seen on TV and in movies, as well as our own historical.
Yeah, we'll see we're going to go to the ferry pools on Skye and.
Oh, they're amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say one benefit of having been stuck here in Scotland, I say that, and you'll all be thinking, what a great place to be stuck. But that was the first time I was able to go to Skye. So yeah, swam in ferry pools. So yes, I think that has to be on a lot of people's to-do list.
Oh yeah, definitely. One of the things I want to take everyone to, just because it's something you don't see anywhere all the time, is I want to take them up to the Clootie Well on the Black Isle. That's it's where everyone takes a rag or a token and they leave it there in the forest. And it's kind of a way where they get rid of their past and get ready for a new beginning. And I thought that would be a good place to do this right after the pandemic. So it'll be great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, you should look it up. It's really neat. It's Clootie Well, and there's a couple of Clootie Wells around Scotland, but yeah, you can look it up. It's on the Black Isle. It's really a fun thing.
Oh, the Black Isle itself is lovely.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've spoken a bit about bars and all the Scots you've got there behind you. So do you have any favourite food and drink when you come over?
Oh, I like the full Scottish breakfast. And that's something that you just don't get right over here. You know what I mean?
Lots of meat on that plate.
Yes, I love that. So
brilliant. And what about you, Diana?
Do you have a favorite Scotch or a favorite food?
Well, both, really.
Favorite Scotch? I don't think I like things that are smooth and not so peaty. So that's pretty normal, you know. Things that are less peaty. Single malts, of course. But do I have a favorite? Not really, not yet.
Okay, still discovering.
And as far as food, I absolutely love haggis. Can't get enough of it. It's fantastic.
Oh.
I love it for breakfast. I love it for dinner. And of course, the salmon, you know, is the best.
Mm-hmm.
I love salmon, I love fish. And then I love a good bowl of Colin Skank.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love the Colin Skank too.
You know, we were on the Isle of Skye during one visit, and we're driving around, and it was springtime, you know, and we'd been on the mainland, and there were a lot of, you know, baby lambs, and then we were driving on Skye, and there were not so many baby lambs.
Yeah.
I'm like, there are all the baby lambs, and it's like, wow, darling, they're on your plate tonight. The lamb is, you know, it's the in Scotland, the beef, the food doesn't have all the preservatives that get put into the food in the United States. And so everything from Scotland, the food here is very good, yes, but there are certain things that get done to the food here in the United States that in Scotland it's more natural. It doesn't get injected with a lot of hormones or preservatives or things to keep it good on a truck. It's just straight from the farm to your plate. Of and it's absolutely delicious. And dining in Scotland, the food's amazing. You know, British food gets a bad rap, but the food in Scotland is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was recently speaking to Gary McLean, so Scotland's first national chef, and that's his role is to promote, promote all the amazing Scottish produce we have, and like you say, get rid of some of the bad reputation that we have. There's a lot of amazing food here, so he's doing an amazing job.
We are huge fans of Gary and the work that he's doing, and he is just amazing. He just did a job. We just worked with him on something, and he's absolutely amazing. And then the work that he's doing, making the rest of the world understand how wonderful Scottish food is it's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. And I feel like the McFarlanes are quite lucky because there's a real range of colours you can find in all of the different tartans. You know, the hunting and the modern are so different. Then you've got the black and white. So do you each have a personal favourite?
I do.
Yes. My first. Okay. Oh no, my first kilt was in the ancient hunting tartan, and that was nicknamed the Mean Green for a while, and a lot of people wear that out here. I graduated from that to the modern hunting, which is what Diana's wearing. But we got married. When we got married, I wore the black and white. And I wear the red kilt, and we have a private run of the black and red even, and that's one of my favorite tartans to wear as well.
Oh, great! Well, I'm representing you today.
Yes, I saw that. That was great.
You know, we wear the green a lot. We've made that kind of the forefront, the hunting green, the forefront tartan. You have the classic red on. I love the classic red. I wear it a lot. And I'm a huge fan of the black and white as well, because not a lot of the clans have the black and white. And I'm sure you guys spend a lot of time teaching people this, but people think that the colors are everything with regards to the tartans. And the tartans are registered with the stripe pattern, and the colors are something that were added later. And it often had to do with whatever vegetation was available on your lands for dyes. So that's why we have things like the ancients, because they were supposed to simulate the way that they looked years ago.
Yeah.
My favorite's probably the green and the black and white. But we do try to say, it's like we say the black and white is kind of what to wear for very formal occasions. So we don't have to wear it as much.
Yeah, well, because I was going to say the first ever tartan that was discovered really was just black and white, because that was the natural colours of the wool available. So it's very traditional, but like you say, natural dyes came into part. So I think a lot of people think that there's a story, for example, maybe the red means courage or green means this. And of course, people can create these stories if they like. We're more than happy for them to do that. But like you say, actually, what it was what was available to them at the time. So, And so finally, can you tell us a bit more about how people can get involved with the society and your future plans? Because you've talked a lot about what you've been up to, so I'm sure there'll be people who are interested to come and get involved as soon as they can.
Well, people can visit our website, Mcfarlane, MacFarlane.org, and there's a lot of information there. You can join us with membership there. We publish things on our upcoming events and gatherings, and that's where you'll also find information on our next Scottish gathering that's happening. We also are on the World Wide Web, all over in the social media via Twitter and Instagram and Facebook.
If you'd like to get involved in Clan MacFarlane, one of the easiest ways to do it is to come on down to one of the events that we do and talk to the clan, go to the Clan MacFarlane tent, talk to commissioners, they'll get you signed up. But like Michael was saying, we have our website. If you go to the website, mcfarland.org, there is a big join button at the top of the website. And with membership, what you get is access to a special members directory that's full of ancient books, information, articles about the history of Clan MacFarlane, and as well as what we call members exclusives, which are special activities, things, and products that we offer for members. And then all the funds that are generated from anything that we do, of course, go right back into the society. 100% of all proceeds go back to the Clan MacFarlane Charitable Trust. That's one of our fundraisers that we do to fund our everyday efforts.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, thank you both so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a safe few months and that everything reopens as planned, and that the gathering can go ahead next year, and yeah, we can all get back out there and meet each other again.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Our thanks to Scotland Shop for having us, Clan MacFarlane, as a Clan of the Month, and for doing this interview with us and giving us a chance to put our message out there and to say hello to everyone and raise awareness about the history of Clan MacFarlane. So thank you to Scotland Shop for that.
Oh,
yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, well, even though we pick a particular clan each month to celebrate, really we're always celebrating every clan at every opportunity.
Well, we love you guys, and we love your products, and we love your team. You guys are such a joy to work with, and we're big fans.
Likewise. So yes, lots more to come in the future.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
Very good.